Hey guys, and welcome back to Pokémon Colosseum. We're still going through the Cipher Shadow Pokémon Laboratory, and that you gotta get the registered trademark in there, and you gotta fight Cipher Peon Lazar to begin a part with, I guess.
Well, he's got a Rhyhorn and an Ariados, so at least he's got some interesting picks for Pokemon that we can look at.
Anyone else prefer Rhyhorn to like Rhydon and Rhyperior?
No, I fucking love Rhyperior. He is a badass.
I think I prefer Rhydon to both of them, but all of them are quite cool, really.
Aim for the horn, Pikachu!
Yes, because that's exactly how it works. No.
Yeah, people always laugh at that, and that's the part that became the meme. But like, I do question why Blaine, the fire trainer, had a Rhydon to start with.
Huh. Yeah, that's a good point. The only reason I can think of is that it can sustain high temperatures, or, like, withstand them, and that's useful for, like, making his gym or something?
Yeah, but if you think in terms of Gen 1, how many cool fire types Gen 1 already has that you don't need to use filler like that? Because you think you've got the Ninetales, the Arcanine, you've got Charizard, Rapidash, you know, you've got loads of these fucking cool fire types you can choose. It's not like, say, a Gen 4 thing where you got Infernape and Rapidash, and then, like, fuck it, let's give the fire guy a Drifblim, because we've got nothing left.
Yeah, true. I've actually got a differences between the games and anime page from Bulbapedia up here. So,
nice.
Since this part has no plot, according to Flame, that was fucking disgusting, Ariados, by the way, I'm just going to go down the list. If you want to comment on it, feel free to chime in. If not, we'll just carry on down the list.
Well, that's fine. Means I can have a rest.
Pokemon with colours different from their normal or shiny ones appear in the anime, though Pokemon with the official shiny colours do appear.
Lovely.
Okay, moving on. Eggs have a different appearance depending on the Pokemon species that is inside of the egg.
See, that's the thing, that for the most part that's accurate, but then you think of, like, with Pokemon Ranger and when that distributed the Manaphy egg, which was a different colour to standard ones, because that was blue, and you'd get that and carry that around.
Yeah, that was a special one. Otherwise, yeah, they're pretty normal. I mean, I like the idea of having the eggs that are like specific to the type of Pokemon, but then also you've got to think, like, if you look at most eggs in real life, while, you know, they are different shapes, different colours, different speckles and so on and so forth, they're generally all pretty similar in terms of coloration and design, so it kind of makes more sense in the games how they're set up, because they're more like, you know, real life eggs.
Yes, agreed. Also, I like Togepi. Togepi's cute. Anywho, in the anime, oh god, this is like the most basic bitch obvious one. In the anime, Pokemon battles take place in real time, as opposed to being turn-based. This means that Pokemon trainers are not forced to wait for other Pokemon to take a move. However, most trainers usually wait for the opponent to finish issuing commands for some fucking reason.
Just to be polite, and I like to imagine that Bulbapedia itself listed it in that exact wording.
Well, wait, is this thing like open to edit? Maybe I'll have to make some alterations after we're done here.
Maybe you won't, because then they'll probably bang you, and then we will have nothing for these videos.
Oh no! I heard that as bang you, with a hard G at the end. Moving swiftly on. Pokemon can have more than 4 moves in the anime and are not required to forget an old move in order to learn a new one, although some of the moves the Pokemon is shown using when first introduced will generally fall into disuse as the Pokemon learns more powerful moves as the series continues. Later series are more likely to have Pokemon stick to the 4 move limit, however. Yeah, Pikachu most notably like cycles through his. Like, he'll have Electro Ball, now he's got like 10 billion zillion T Volt Tackle in the Sun and Moon arc and so on. It basically depends on what's the big electric move at the time.
Yeah, although really it should always be Thunderbolt, because Thunderbolt is like still one of the best electric moves in the game in terms of power and consistency.
I miss Volt Tackle. Pikachu's Volt Tackle animation is the shit.
Oh yeah, that was glorious.
It's pretty great, yeah. Anyway, let's see. PP, power points, do not exist in the anime. Shut up, Flame. Egg moves, which a Pokemon knows upon hatching in the games, are able to be picked up as naturally as the Pokemon grows. One example being Ash's Pikachu learning Volt Tackle 424 episodes after its first appearance. Holy shit.
Yeah, there's been quite a lot of episodes of this series now. It kind of happens when you've been going for God knows how many fucking years.
Yeah. In the anime, there can be more than the 8 usual gyms in each region. However, Ash only ever faces the ones from the games, with the others challenged by the rivals. That reminds me of that really great episode in the Kanto arc or region, leading up to the league, where he actually met a dude who had all those like different badges and whatnot. And you know, my OCD was loving seeing all the variations and shit.
Although I have to say, I believe the Kanto arc is the only one where that has actually happened. I mean, obviously I could be completely wrong because I've not paid that much attention to the anime for a very long time, but I'm pretty sure that Kanto was the only region where they did that. And then after that point, they pretty much stuck to only the 8 ones that are in the games. I mean, I could be wrong on that. It could also be, you know, that they only showed off there being other badges in the Kanto region, and then it's still the case in other regions, but they don't show it off.
Yeah, you're correct there. They don't show it off. Like Morrison, one of Ash's rivals, I believe, is shown to have an 8th badge that is different from Ash's at the Hoenn Pokemon League Championship.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, let's see. Barry, who I believe is the blonde-haired dude from Diamond and Pearl, he has 3 badges. While the Forest badge and the Mine badge are no different, Barry has a 3rd badge that is different from the 8 Sinnoh badges, and then he gets 2 more which are like different, which means there are at least 11 gyms in Sinnoh.
Right.
Yeah, I think they actually changed things up a little bit in the Unova arc, because like Ash for his 8th badge, I seem to recall, instead of going to the 8th one from like the original base Black and White games, which was that dragon guy, he went to the Poison Gym from Black and White 2. So they kind of switched things up there. I don't know whether it's implied. Like, actually, because that was the one in Black and White where it switched. It was either Iris or that dragon guy, depending on which version you played, wasn't it?
Yes, I believe his name's Drayden.
Yeah, him. Like, so I don't know whether that was just dancing around the fact that Iris was travelling with him that time around and just conveniently using it as a way to plug Black and White 2. But it kind of, that was a example of them deviating from the game's rules list slightly in the anime itself.
I mean, I suppose that one was probably a weird one, because I don't think they... Oh, well, I don't know, but did they ever actually properly cover the Black 2, White 2 arc in the anime? Because I don't feel that they probably did.
I think there was like a bit of a to-do at the end of that, and they kind of rushed to Kalos as quickly as they could, but I may be remembering things incorrectly.
No, I do remember something like that.
There was the Decalore Islands filler arc that was, I think, probably about 25 episodes or something like that, not very long at all. It was actually quite impressive, because aside from the episode end stuff, that series managed to make the standard Unova arc actually seem interesting by comparison, and that takes some fucking doing.
Holy shit. But yeah, I gotta get like an acrylic set of badges or some like plated ones, because I don't know, I love like shiny knickknacks and whatnot, but you're not here to hear about that. You're here to hear me read off a Bulbapedia entry. So let's scroll down.
Well, just before you continue, you're saying about sort of getting like the badges. Well, because of when I got my car, I decided to call him TK after, you know, Digimon TK. I actually managed to get, you know, the crests. I've actually got crest keyrings.
Oh.
So I'm actually able to swap out which crest I put in. Obviously, at the minute, it's the Crest of Hope because it's TK's, because my car's called TK, and that's on my car keys. Because of course, I'm such a geek that I have to do that.
Are you done, Richie?
Yeah, so I was just saying I've got that and they're quite cool.
Why did you name your car, Richie?
Because that's what you do. My mum's car's called Pat Pat, my sister's car's called Cammy, mine's TK because it's THK.
Okay.
Yeah, back to this. That's adorable, but back to this. I got a feigned disdain here to be the better man. Alright, in the anime, all trainers who collect at least 8 badges compete in a Pokemon League conference. In the games, trainers who manage to collect all the specific regional badges are qualified to challenge the Elite Four and the current champion. This is an interesting thing. Flame, do you think there'll ever be like a proper tournament and then the Elite Four in a Pokemon game?
I don't know. I think that the Victory Road format tends to be safe enough for them. But I do want to bring up, just before we get back to Tom reading off the article, this is like the one relevant part in the game of stuff actually happening in this part.
Okay.
We have been picking up DNA samples around the lab, and this is basically how you get the password to put into the final door to get to like the actual boss of the dungeon.
Okay.
You have to memorize the Pokemon that you get from scanning the DNA samples here. It is randomly generated, at least to my knowledge, like which Pokemon show up in each sample. But to my recollection, the locations of where the items spawn can switch around from playthrough to playthrough as well. I may be remembering that wrong, but I do seem to recall seeing walkthroughs saying different things, and then seeing a forum post saying that it can spawn in 3 random places out of a possible 8.
Ugh.
So yeah, it's another thing that makes this more confusing, and here's one of them guys that you can easily avoid. He has no shadow Pokemon, so I'm gonna just go straight past him just to not drag out this dungeon any longer than it already is.
Absolutely no need, yeah. Okay, where was I? I seem to have lost track. Oh yeah, I asked you a question, Flame.
Yeah, repeat the question in case somebody here didn't quite remember that.
Okay, well, in the anime, there's a Pokemon League conference after getting 8 badges. However, in the games, obviously, you only fight the Elite Four. Do you think they could have, like, a tournament leading into a chance to face the Elite Four at any point? Do you think that would be cool to have in the games?
I don't think that would work too well. I feel like that's the kind of thing that would come off as a bit of filler beforehand, especially if it's the kind of tournament that if you fail it, you get booted back to the start, which is kind of how tournaments work. I feel like the current setup of, you know, you train up, you get your gym badges, you go through Victory Road, and then you can just take the shot at the Elite Four, that works and that's fair.
Okay.
I agree. I think it's one of those instances where different mediums require different setups. So, in a game, a tournament structure only really feels like it works when you are playing multiplayer games. Obviously, I mean, you have like the tournament structures in like Stadium and Colosseum and Battle Revolution, but they're not really like full tournaments if you think about it. They're more just a linear stream of battles set up to pretend to be a tournament, but they're not actually. They're just sort of the Elite Four on mini scale. So, I mean, if you set up the tournament as being the Elite Four, I think that would make more sense.
Okay.
You could get away with it in that instance in a game, but as it is currently, if you've got that and then you take on the Elite Four, it's too many battles right at the end of the game, and that would kind of over-reg it. But in the anime, it would perhaps feel a little bit odd to go straight into taking down the Elite Four. So having that whole tournament structure is interesting, but also you've got a lot more characters generally in play, because you've always had Ash, but you've always had kind of a rival or a couple of rivals hanging about at the same time. So you've been interested to see how they do in the tournament, so you have got a better structure in order to handle those characters and present the story. So a tournament makes sense, whereas it doesn't make as much sense in the context of a game where it's just you playing by yourself.
Well, even then, the games do still have that in-universe competitive element, if you think the way that most games work, in that it's established that the champion can be overthrown and you become champion by defeating the previous champion.
Yeah.
So there is still that element there, and it kind of makes it like, you know, you're aiming to defeat this guy who's defending his title. So it's still got a little bit, it just makes it more flexible for gameplay.
Yeah. What would be cool, I think, is like if you had multiple rivals in a future game. Like, we've seen games with examples of this, obviously, but maybe just like more than 2, I guess. Like, maybe you could meet a new one every time you come into a town, and it'll be a bit like the fucking system from that one, like, Lord of the Rings game, where they just keep coming back to hassle you. It's like, you bitch, you took out my Charizard, now I'm going to put you in a grave.
So the Nemesis system, basically.
That's the one, yeah.
It sounds more like the petty grudge system, if you ask me, but hey.
Alright, I'm going to move on down the list because there's a lot here and we are approaching time here. Let's have a look here. Let's see. Occasionally, there have been cases where move or status mechanics have been ignored or altered in the anime that contradicts the games. One of this is Volt Tackle causing recoil damage when blocked with Protect, instead of being caused from a small amount based on the damage inflicted. Another example is Toxic Spikes poisoning Ash's Pokemon when they touched the ground instead of when they were switched out. This affected his Staraptor and Gliscor, which could be immune to the move in the games due to being flying types. Sometimes the anime contradicts its own rules. For example, when Ash asks his Apom to dodge and counter with Focus Punch, when it's been explained before that the Pokemon needs to concentrate a moment without being distributed to be able to use the attack.
Is this article suggesting that they make up the rules for the anime as they go along?
Oh, this is the best one. There's like a lead-on article from that called Anime_Physics. This is the best line I think I've read all part. Pokemon often disobey Newton's third law. Attacks such as Hyper Beam that blast the target backwards do nothing of sort to the user. This is especially notable with flying or levitating Pokemon, which cannot even brace themselves against the ground.
Oh my god, I like to imagine that there's been some guy who's writing this article who's been looking through like physics documents and papers and shit and like going, okay, so it follows this rule, not this rule.
Yeah, basically. It's like that one skit in, I forget whether it was Animals or Politics. It was a Ricky Gervais show, and he was talking about like people adding random trivia to websites and whatnot, and he imagines a guy getting up in the middle of the night in like a swear and just typing in, the peanut is not a nut, it is a legume. Phew.
Basically.
Ah, it's Q! I can't kill that. Why would anyone want to kill that?
Or it's evil and has a black heart.
Well, but the thing is that we're not going to kill it. We're going to catch it and, bring it back to the light.
No, we're not. We're going to stick it in a PC box and forget about it.
I mean, yes, but it's the principle behind why we're technically catching it. We're doing it to be good. What we actually do is a different kettle of fish, but yeah.
As long as we say we're doing good things, it's fine. This is like fucking Twitter.
Jesus. Alright, here's some other conflicts with the games, just to round things out. Ash was able to pick up Larvitar despite it weighing 72 kilograms, according to the game data. He also carried a Hippopotas on his back, amounting to 109 pounds of weight bearing down on his head and neck.
Ooh.
Later, he held Nebby in his hands as a Cosmo M, with its weight of 999.9 kg.
I can mentally picture the YouTube thumbnails of videos about all three of those. They have red circles in them, that's the important part. Ow.
It's okay. It's okay.
Hi, Swallow.
I do actually quite like Swallow's design. One thing that I will always sort of remember, completely ludicrous moment, I believe it was whilst Ash was fighting Liza and Tate in the anime.
Yeah, go on.
Pikachu and Swallow were teaming up, and then Pikachu did some sort of electric move and coated Swallow in like lightning energy, and he went all golden, and then they went and killed everything, and it was quite cool, but also just like, how the hell does this work?
Yes. It's not the first time they've bullshitted a gym fight, and it definitely won't be the last. That's all you can really take away from that.
Really?
Especially given, like, the first fucking gym battle was bullshit. Where it's like, oh, Onyx got wet from the sprinklers, so now it's weak to electricity somehow. Okay.
Oh, don't even get me started on, like, moves, like, having type effectiveness errors in the fucking thing. Like, there was a psychic type move used on a Zorora in Master of Illusions. Obviously, as a dark type, it should be immune to psychic. Fucking 0 out of 10. Disgusting.
Worst episode ever.
Movie, Flame. It was a movie.
Yes, I know.
It was alright. The Master of Illusions isn't the best movie. It's not the worst one either.
I quite liked it. I suppose it has that issue if it was following on from like the trilogy, and this was like the standalone one that didn't have like quite as. It felt like it didn't really have as much production value behind it on the whole compared to those, and so like I can see why if you've watched the others before it, that might not feel as impressive. But it was still a good time, I think.
Come to the end of the article. Nothing much else to talk about here.
Oh, that was it. Oh, can I draw attention to how hilarious it was to notice that what Swallow did a little bit ago? Probably should have brought it up, whilst it was actually happening. But you could see the moment where they changed the animations from it standing there to it flying to kind of be staying in the air, doing one of sort of the swooping moments, and it was just like, that's funny.
Yeah, I also enjoyed the part where it was powering up for one of its attacks and the frame rate just hit the teens.
Jesus.
Just for a second. And the same thing happens, I've noticed, during some of these Cipher admin intro animations, the frame rate just completely drops for some reason. I'm sure it's not as intense as the game seems to make out it is.
Yeah, I don't think they optimised every inch of the game that much, because the GameCube, it's no PS2, but it's also no Xbox or Dreamcast, so...
True. The GameCube does hold up pretty well. I suppose also we have the issue of I'm playing the PAL version, which has its own host of problems along with it as well.
Ugh, PAL. Once again, the most unaptly named region, because it ain't your friend, buddy. Oh no. Don't worry, I'm keeping an eye on the timer this time, Flame.
Are you? Have you worked out how numbers work now?
Oh, this looks important, but sorry guys, that's for tomorrow, so we'll input the code, and we'll see you next time for more Pokemon Colosseum. Bye for now.